The real beautiful, sustainable way to create challenge is for there to be, for your value to have a price.
Okay, what do you mean?
Ooh,
That your value doesn't come for free. Your value is something that has to be earned by someone showing up in the way you're prepared to show up, by someone being prepared to make the kind of sacrifices you're prepared to make for someone, by someone giving to you on a level that you're willing to give, respecting you on a level that you respect them, and also not giving someone too much credit too quickly. That's a big problem. When we come from a needy place, when we come from a place of insecurity, we start giving people credit they don't deserve yet.
Wow. He just hit us with something, y'all. Hey family, what's up? It's your girl Samantha Lee, and I'm here because I saw a video and I really wanted to go through it with you guys. It's called The Science of Attraction. It's done by Deep Dive with Ali Abdaal, I believe. And he's having a conversation with a guy that I really like listening to, and it's Matthew Hussey. And he's talking about don't date for attraction, which I think will be very interesting to talk about because I want to know what he's got to say. I want to know who he's talking to. Is he talking to women? He's talking to men. So anyway, we're going to watch that together today. We're going to watch a clip of it. But before we get into it, if you like the content that I'm putting out there in the universe, if you like it, if it resonates with you, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also hit that notification bell because I'm posting randomly throughout the day. I don't want you to miss one piece of the information that I'm putting out there, okay? I'm also going live, so I don't want you to miss that either. Okay, all of that stuff is said. We done with talking. Sam's done talking about this. Let's talk about the science of attraction. I think that will be really, really interesting and intriguing to talk about. So don't move a muscle. Get some popcorn, get something to drink. Let's go ahead and watch this thing, y'all. Let's go have some fun here.
But firstly, the 4 stages of attraction. Secondly, we're going to talk about mistakes that we make while dating. Thirdly, we're going to go over some practical dating advice. And fourthly, we're going to be talking about the secret to long-lasting desire. Now, one of the first things that Matthew and I talked about is how attraction works. Most of us tend to think of attraction as this magical thing that just happens. And you hear all these phrases like, I felt a spark and we had great chemistry and we just hit it off. That speaks to this almost mystical nature of what attraction really is. But if we actually break it down and look at the evidence that people have looked at around what actually builds attraction, then Matthew's going to talk about how it's actually split up into 4 distinct phases.
I talk about there being a kind of a formula, and I don't mean this crudely. I just mean there are certain components to deep and lasting attraction. You have chemistry, perceived value, perceived challenge, and connection.
Wow.
The reason I like this model is because when you look at this, you can usually see, you can sort of self-diagnose where something may be going wrong. Chemistry is interesting because there's a certain intangible there and an unknown there, and we certainly can't control all of it, but we can control some of it. The way that we look, how well we take care of ourselves, the way we move, importantly, is a big factor in chemistry, which is why you can sometimes see someone in photos and think they're really attractive, and then you meet them in real life and you kind of go, oh, weird. I don't feel the same way. It's also why you can get back from a date and say, oh my God, I just had this amazing date with this incredibly hot person. And if you show pictures of that person to your friends, they're like, okay,
yeah.
I guess, because you were there.
Yeah.
You were there. You saw how they move, how they smile, how they gesture, their micro expressions. So there's certainly things we can do to affect chemistry. And obviously you can create tension too, which is a big factor in chemistry. Then there's perceived value, and perceived value is all these things that we are and do that bring value to the table. It might be our personality. It might be the things that we're good at in life. It might be our life. The life that we've built can sometimes be our friends and family. Sometimes you meet someone's friends and family and you go, what a life this is to come into. They have an amazing group of people around.
I think it's really interesting because he talks about first chemistry. Chemistry is something that's he's saying intangible. You can't really put your finger on it. You can look at somebody in pictures and say, wow, they're super attractive, and then meet them in person and not really feel the same way. Then he goes into understanding like other aspects of the value that they bring to your life, what this person brings to the table that would make your life better. And I think it's very interesting to talk about that because we live in a society where a lot of the rhetoric is men just got to bring money, women just got to bring looks. And that's all you need. That's all the value. The more attractive you are, the more value you have, apparently. But attraction is one level of it. And that's what he's talking about. At first, yes, is attraction. But then it's like, what else do you bring to the table? And a part of my platform is really bringing about awareness to other aspects of ourselves outside of the superficial that we bring into relationships, because we are hyper focused as a society on superficial things like money and looks. And we're not talking about, or we're not doing a movement of women really dialing into more aspects of ourselves. We're spending money on, a lot of, well, not all, a lot of us, but what we see online is women spending money or saving up money. Like I work in a high school. I'll tell you guys this. There's young women that are saving up to get surgeries, right? They're waiting till they're 18 and saving up money that they're making now, not for a car, but for surgery, right? It's a different world. When I was in school, that's not what we were doing, right? And then we have men that are hyper focused on making money. So it's like, okay, the more money, the more money, the more money. And as we kind of normalize this and socialize this, we are forgetting other aspects of value that will keep us in those situations. So yes, you might be the baddest woman on earth, but you may not be able to keep a man. You may be able to attract any man you want, but keeping him is a whole nother issue. And like a man, you could be the richest man on earth, but keeping a woman or maintaining a relationship with a woman is not feasible for you because of other aspects of who you are. Again, it goes much deeper, which is why I want to talk about this. So let me shut up and let this go.
Around them, so much love, so much. So there's a lot of ways for perceived value to manifest itself. Then there's perceived challenge. And the interesting thing about perceived value is it goes down regardless of how many things are in that category if there's no perceived challenge. And perceived challenge is not the kind of, I don't know, a typical way of thinking about it, I guess, would be like hard to get. That's a cheap way to create challenge, because the problem with hard to get is you can't keep it up forever. The moment you are got, if your attraction was built around the getting, then you can't sustain it. But if the real beautiful, sustainable way to create challenge is for there to be, for your value to have a price.
Okay, what do you mean?
Ooh, what
that your value doesn't come for free. Your value is something that has to be earned by someone showing up in the way you're prepared to show up, by someone being prepared to make the kind of sacrifices you're prepared to make for someone, by someone giving to you on a level that you're willing to give, respecting you on a level that you respect them, and also not giving someone too much credit too quickly. That's a big problem. When we come from a needy place, when we come from a place of insecurity, we start giving people credit they don't deserve yet.
Wow. Y'all, he just hit us with something. Y'all. A lot of times we give people credit too quickly. And I just watched a piece of content where someone was talking about when someone on their first or initial encounters, they're super charming. They're like overdoing it. They're putting on so much. They're laying on heavy. It's actually a sign of someone that is toxic. They're hiding something. There's something that you don't know, which is why in the beginning phases, they're going so hard to get you. And then when they finally get you, you're dealing with other issues. But when you're dealing with someone and you're in normal relationship with people, give people time to show themselves of who they are. I think that we really rush to make decisions about people and to make decisions about relationships. And the reality is it takes time. It's not something that we should rush into. So I think it's really interesting that he's talking about that, because we might even get upset with certain people for not moving as fast as we want them to. But in all actuality, when they're kind of like feeling you out and they're trying to see if this is consistent, this is actually who you are, this is just a show that you're putting on for a couple of dates, and then I get the real version of you, we get upset about people taking their time, but we should be taking our time, okay? And he's talking about perceived challenge, which is not hard to get, which is a lot of what we do. There's women that, well, I don't even know if women are doing that anymore. I don't know if women are like playing hard to get and not texting on purpose and doing all these things, but he's saying that's a superficial way making a perceived challenge. So right now we have chemistry, is perceived value, and then perceived challenge. And so I think it's very interesting that he said that you have to have some challenge in there. And if there are no challenges, or if there's no perceived challenges, people find them less attractive. And I know why. Here's what I think. Y'all comment below what you think, but this is what I think. I think that when somebody comes in and they so perfect and they got everything together and there's no issue and there's no problem, you're like, this is too good to be true. This is too good to be true. There's something that I don't know. There's something that it can't be this perfect. I think 9 times out of 10, you're probably right.
I just met them. I just had the most amazing date with the most amazing person. Oh my God, they're incredible. Based on what?
Right.
On what basis? What information could you have possibly got
Yes.
on one date
Preach.
that enables you to say this?
Right.
You have been seduced by a kind of charm, a charisma, maybe the fact that you did something really fun on the date, the fact that they made you laugh a lot, the fact that they told stories about their past that made them relatable or sympathetic or seem really authentic. All of that is great. I'm not saying be inherently suspicious. I'm saying you don't know. You don't know. So on what basis are you giving them all of this value already? Based on projection? And based on insecurity, this immediate putting them on a pedestal and putting yourself down here. Someone smells that, they don't see an equal anymore.
Wow.
And that's
y'all, I heard you. I hope you heard what he said. When we quickly put people on a pedestal, I think men do this a lot, women do this a lot. We're both guilty of this. We put somebody on a pedestal really, really quickly, and we have this like, I can't believe I got them, or I put them up here. And when we do that, we end up making that person feel like they are higher value than you. So when they feel like they're a higher value than you, they're like, oh, we're not the same. We're not equals. They see you as less valuable. You're not as an attractive as an option. When you've now put them on a pedestal, put you down here, they're like, wait, what am I doing? I mean, if they're doing all this, then, maybe they're not the same. Listen, I've been guilty of that. I've had people go all out and do all these things. And it's like, over time, it's like, why are you doing so much? It does make it look like, what's going on here? Why are they doing this much so quickly? And, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, why are they performing so much to get my attention or my affection? Is there something that they're not telling me? Blah, 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 blah. And it does make me look at them differently. But I think in general, what he's saying is so true. Don't put somebody on a pedestal too soon, because if they feel like they're on a pedestal, they're going to start looking at you like you're less valuable. And then it also, if they look at you as less valuable, they look at you as less attractive and therefore lose interest.
That's what I mean when I say challenge. I don't mean artificially constructing games or hoops for people to jump through. I mean that criteria you have for someone has to be real. It has to be real. Like, it's you and I met today for the first time, really enjoying our conversation. Hope you are too.
Absolutely.
But we don't know each other yet as friends. You don't know if I'd be reliable if you needed something. You don't know if I would show up to support you if something went wrong in your life. You don't know any of that. So, it would be dangerous to go away and make an assessment on how great of a friend I would be based on this exchange. What you would hope in an organic situation is that you and I go, this was really, really fun. We got on really well. This was a great conversation. I would like to get to know this guy better. That would be it'd be really cool if we could hang out outside of the podcast. But it's not, I have to be friends with Ali, I have to, because he's an amazing guy. Now that's projection. That's dangerous, because I'm basing that on the fact that you're clearly outwardly a very impressive human, and what you've achieved, what you've done is very impressive. And you seem to have had a really amazing kind of impact on a lot of people. And those are all amazing things. Those are amazing things in their own right. It's not about devaluing those, but I have no idea what your value would be as a friend until we try being friends.
Yeah.
Right.
And the mistake people make in dating commonly is they look at someone's stats.
Yeah.
How charming were they? How charismatic were they? How successful are they? Where are they in their life? What kind of person do they seem to be? But none of that exists in relation to you. That's all just you admiring what this person has or is. But none of it says this person's going to be a great boyfriend or a great girlfriend. None of it says they're going to be loyal. None of it says they're going to be reliable. None of it says they're going to be a great teammate. All it says is this person seems on these metrics to be attractive. And in any relationship, in terms of importance, you have to go through 4 stages. One is admiration. That's just where I can see someone and admire them from either up close or afar. Wow, this person's pretty impressive.
I want to say this though, guys, before we get any further, when he's talking about the fact that a lot of times we go into relationships and we look at the stats of the person, what they've accomplished in life, who they are, all these different things, it can make somebody so much more attractive. I know as a woman, when you look at somebody and other people find this person appealing or attractive, it's easy to like put them already on a pedestal and feel like I've got to get with this person. I've got to make this work because they're such an impressive person on the outside, but not necessarily understanding who they are as people before we make a decision like that. And I think that that's a very, very good point, because in today's society, it can be superficial factors. Like I remember going to a school recently, I did a tour and I'm talking to the students, and I've heard in the past that like, okay, if you don't have a social media following, women don't want to talk to you. It's crazy to me because it's like, okay, so if they don't have that on paper, if they're not followable by other people, you don't see the value in them. Again, superficial things that don't really matter. How do you engage with that person? Are you attracted to that person off of how they look and what they do and common interests and common value systems? We're not taking that into account. We're looking at very superficial things like what kind of car they drive, what's their social media following like, all these other dumb things that doesn't say that this person will be a good partner for you. It's just a more impressive partner to have.
And attractive, not very important. In the stages, not important.
Yep.
Necessary, but not important.
Yep.
Then there's connection or chemistry. That's the next stage of, do we feel connected to each other and is there a kind of chemistry?
Mm.
All right. Now it's slightly more important because now it becomes mutual.
Yep.
Now it's not just me admiring you. It's, there's something between us.
Yep.
Not important, because necessary, but not important. How many people have ruined their lives over the fact that they had chemistry with someone, even when that person was a terrible partner, a terrible person to base their decisions on? The next stage is commitment. Okay, I admire you. We have mutual chemistry and connection, and we're both actually saying yes to each other. I deal with people every day where they have this stage. That person isn't saying yes. They're saying, yeah, I'd like to see you this Friday at 11 o'clock. But they're not saying yes to an actual relationship. So you need commitment to go to the next stage of importance. But many people are treating something like it has total importance, even though they're only at the second stage.
Right.
So you need a yes, you need commitment. Now, you would say if you've got that, that's the most important thing you can have. You've got someone you admire, you've got someone you have a connection with in chemistry, and you've got someone who is committed. It would seem like that was everything, but that kind of idea, is it Virgil, love conquers all? Love does not conquer all. Two people saying yes to each other doesn't make for a long-term relationship. You also have to have the fourth stage of importance, which is compatibility. Are you actually compatible? Because if you're not, you can say, yes, I want to be with you. Yes, I'm committed. But that lack of compatibility will show up in ways that will make both of you miserable.
Well, what do you mean by compatibility?
It could be anything. It could be, my idea of a good time is staying home watching movies, and yours is constantly traveling around the world. It could be your idea of a good time is going out and drinking and doing drugs, and I don't want to live that life. And we've both said yes to each other, but our idea of what is a good life is completely different, or our idea of loyalty is completely different. Your idea of loyalty is that I don't have sex with anyone. My idea of loyalty is that you don't emotionally cheat on me in the texts you send.
Come on.
That
you ain't lying.
We've both said yes to each other. We have admiration, connection, commitment.
Yeah.
And yet I am miserable because of what your definition of loyalty is.
Come on.
So compatibility is, do we both want to live the same kind of life, and do our values line up? And do we both have the same idea? Two people can say, I value kindness, but we can have very different standards for what kindness actually means.
Yes.
So without that stage, so many things go wrong. What I mean to say with all of this is that we lose our value in dating when we stop paying attention to the appropriate level of importance at different stages. If you take stage 2, I found someone I have a connection with, as the be all end all and the thing that you martyr yourself in service of, you lose all your value. You are now the person who spends a lifetime accepting really poor treatment from someone because every time you see them, it's amazing. You don't understand. When we're together, it's so good. It's so incredible. They're so there for me. The sex is amazing. The chemistry is amazing. We have such amazing conversations. What's the problem? I haven't heard from them in 2 weeks. But Matt, you don't understand. The connection is incredible. This is really important to me.
That's so good. That is so good, y'all. Because what he's saying, I mean, a lot of us can get caught up in that. We can get caught up in our connection with people and like, oh, you know, we have all these things and yeah, you don't want to get married, you don't want a relationship, but you know, we just have such a good time together and great conversations and you know, I understand him and he understands me and blah, blah, blah. And we put that over everything else that we need. He talks about admiration, connection, chemistry. The third thing is commitment. The fourth thing, and the most important thing was compatibility. And I think a lot of us are not compatible. I think we live in a world where loneliness, as we've discussed in the past, is an epidemic. People are describing rates of loneliness in ways that we've never seen before, in the most connected we've ever been, supposedly, right? So I think a lot of people are just afraid of being alone and therefore end up being in relationships choosing on superficial factors like what's their following, how much money do they have, what's their status, all these other superficial things that really don't make for a long-term relationship or a meaningful connection. Just makes for a connection. And if we choose based on connection, in the words of Matthew Hussey, we lose our value. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm probably going to watch the whole thing. So again, keep watching this content. Go ahead and comment below your thoughts, what you think, what you don't think. What did I get wrong? What did he get wrong? I just want to hear difference of opinions, y'all. You know, I like to talk. So go ahead and do that. And I will see you guys in my next video or the live. All right. I love y'all. I will see you guys soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, y'all. Let's not just be every once in a while. Let's become family, okay? Friends that are family, okay? Join my family today.